How's everybody doing? It's Savon, aka the Monkas, and here with me is my co-host Reed, aka the Commish. This is episode one of Likely to Dispute, fantasy podcast that will cover league specific and general fantasy.
The goal here is not to offer expert advice, but just to give our opinions on a lot of things. For those of you who are in the league, we spend a lot of time arguing about things, both over text in the league chat, on Sleeper, whatever it is. We figured this would be a good medium for us to, get out our opinions, hopefully provide some entertaining moments, and essentially just argue with each other for the entertainment of others. And we're hoping that it can be something fun that we can produce, sporadically throughout the off season, but in season hopefully doing something weekly that we can talk about anything from power rankings to trades that went down. We have a lot of ideas of stuff we want to do, especially as we lead up to the season. Some things like team breakdowns, where potentially we could have rotating guests talking about their teams, their players, their thoughts on their players. Or if there's a big trade that goes down, we can get all the parties involved and really get the viewpoint from everybody, just kind of connect the people in the league since, the goal of the league in general was to kind of take the best of everybody from our separate leagues, Savannah and I, and make a league of people that are truly invested in fantasy. So everybody here is hopefully thinking at least some about what they're doing before they do stuff. So if there's the opportunity for us to all talk about it and provide some fun content for the league, I think that'd be something that could end up being enjoyable for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And um, yeah, like he was saying, we do go back and forth quite a bit in text in our group chats in the Discord. So that's kind of where the name Likely to Dispute comes from. It's because at some point, probably every episode, we're likely to get into it over something. But I guess some things we want to cover with us starting in April before the draft. We got the rookie draft coming up, second week of May. So we'll probably get into some draft talk about a few prospects from the draft eligible positions. We're going to do a short power rankings at the end of this episode. And then as the summer goes on, we'll get into more once everybody's roster shape out. We'll see how everybody's team stacking up as we get into year two of the Dynasty League. So looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward between the NFL draft and our rookie draft. Savannah and I are going to give our first round fantasy mock draft specific to our league based on who has each pick, and I'm looking forward to that because I think that'll be some fun stuff to talk about. Talk about each team, who fits where, and maybe we'll change some minds on some players, as we talk through it. But looking forward to that, and especially the ability to have on people from the league and just talk to them, and people we may not get to talk to a lot or if ever, just kind of shoot the shit and talk about football with people. So I think it should be fun. Don't want to go on too long. Most of you guys know at least one or both of us. So I think we're going to hop into some league power rankings now, just to round out the first episode here. We wanted to talk some ball before the end of the episode because
Yep.
just doing an intro part isn't super fun. So we're going to do our power rankings. We did not compare notes beforehand. We're just going to do 12 to 1. We're going to alternate. We're just going to give a little bit of reasoning, nothing in depth for why we have them there. And the goal here is we're focusing on just the upcoming 2025 season. We're not looking long term past this year. We're just giving our power rankings as of now, who we think is most or least to most likely to win the league here in 2025. So, Savan, why don't you kick us off with your number 12, your last team in the league?
Okay, so disclaimer, we're all grown men here, so this should not hurt anybody's feelings. If you disagree with my opinion, then get a better team. Um, Number 12, I have Sumner. Uh, Only note I have on him is he's got the all name team and has a 1 to 2 year window max. To me, it's hard to tell the direction that he's going. He's buying players, he's selling players. Um, yeah, that's my 12.
I believe that strategy is called wheeling and dealing. So, my number 12 team, I have Trent in number 12. But I think that what Trent has a great opportunity here this offseason. He has 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. He made a lot of trades in the past year to trade players for picks. Like in the trade I made with him, he traded Drake London and got a first and a second round pick in that trade. I think he has a great opportunity this offseason. just right now, he lacks a lot of star power outside of Brock Bowers. But I have him last right now, but that could change here as the offseason goes on. He makes his picks and potentially makes some more trades.
Yeah, we have I can already tell we're gonna have very different rankings because yeah,
No spoilers.
yep, yeah, we'll get into it. All right, number 11 for me, uh, I have Sandy. To me, he's got one guy at every position. He's got Hurts, he's got Bijan, he's got AJ Brown, and he has Kelsey or Tucker Craft, if you want to call it that. And to me, those are the solid players at each position, and then it's just kind of mid after that. So he was a guy. I think he was the 3 seed last year.
The two
Um,
seed actually, he had a bye with
he
you.
did. Oh, I thought it was Schrader, but
No.
he snuck in at the end. Yeah, with that. Oh, he had that. He had the tie. That's what it was.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's where I'm at 11.
I also had Sandy at number 11. I had basically the same notes. His top end players are really good. The stack with Hurts and AJ Brown. Bijan is obviously elite, but real holes at the flex. Travis Kelsey probably only 1 year left here. He has all of his picks this year, so he's picking at that 10 slot for all of his picks. So there's more room to grow here with the hits on those picks, but just some real holes to that don't really, form a whole team here around his star players.
I gotcha. Yep, an agreement there. Um, I'm not going to name these next. The middle like 5 players are all just I guess yeah, opinion based. But I feel like this next tier is very very clumped up together. So these next few picks could really be in any order, but I had to put them in an order. So with that being said, at number 10, I have this hurts me to say, but I have Robert in 10. To me, he's got a very polarizing team. You either love his players or you hate him. Aside from, Marvin, I think everybody loves Marvin, but he's only got one quarterback with Kirk getting benched. But he had a chance to get someone in the draft, but decided to trade back for who was it? DJ? I think he traded for DJ.
He got Brees.
Brees. He traded for Brees. So yeah, still he's got to fill that hole. Not having I guess having 3 quarterbacks is a luxury, but not having 2 quarterbacks is very painful. So he's got to look to fill that spot this offseason somehow.
My number 10, I had Camden Thornhill. I think his team is very, very well rounded. He just lacks some star power. Obviously, Puka is very good. In his recent trade, I feel like when he traded Nico Collins, he went from having an elite receiving core with Puka, Nico Collins, Rasheed, and then who knows what you'll get out of Debo, but potentially Debo in a bounce back year, to getting a lot of players who are a lot closer to the middle. And not only in that trade did he trade away Nico, he also traded away the 105. So, potentially a chance there to get a higher end player. I think his team is good. I just don't think he's great anywhere. And I think his depth is a little lacking. And given that he only has one pick in the first 2 rounds this year, I think he could struggle to really find that star power. But I think his team is all around and he'll be competitive no matter what. I like you. I had this starting at 10. I had a kind of a tier break there where I think
Yeah,
a lot of these teams are very close.
yeah. Um, so coming in at number 9, I had Schrader. He's got firepower at running back with Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs. They were workhorses this year or last year, and I expect it to be the exact same. Um, Other than that, he does have. I feel like he's got a solid floor in out of his starters. I know he's got Xavier Worthy. He's kind of in that. He's kind of in that tier where uh, he's only got the one quarterback with Purdy. Purdy to me would be a very like an elite quarterback too in a 2 QB league. Um, Definite room to improve. He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown, so he's got guys that can win him weeks. Just lacks the depth and the high end superstar talent. But yeah,
My number 9, I had Sumner in this spot. He's, I think, the biggest wild card in the league right now. Like, if all goes right, like he has as good of a chance as anybody to win the league. Like the amount of high end talent that he has is very nice. But
that's why I called him the all name team.
mhm. with Kamara, McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill. Like there's three guys there. McCaffrey and Tyreek in particular, approaching or over 30, but are only 1 year removed from being a top two at their position. Ayuk injury is still nobody really knows what's going on there. Last report I saw was mid-season return, let alone return to performance at his peak. So I think there's a lot of potential, but I think his, as you said, his window is very, very slim,
Yeah.
and we'll see what he does throughout the rest of the offseason. Given the fact that he still has 102 right now, so he has the ability to supplement with anyone that's not Ashton Genty likely at this point. He has the
Yes.
ability to add somebody, but I think that his window is very slim. But if all goes right, he definitely has potential to win the league still.
I do agree with everything you just said. Coming in at number 8, I had Cam Thorne. Um, his team is solid. It is very it's pretty that's his team's the definition of mid, right? He's got mid quarterbacks. He has Puka and Rice. Cook's good. My main note here was he's going to have to get carried by Puka, Rice, and Cook. Rice still has that suspension looming, and he's coming off a major knee injury. Puka, I think he's had stretches in both seasons being unhealthy, more this past season than the other. And then Cook is a weird player. He finally broke out fully. It's just hard to. I don't know the number off the top of my head how many touchdowns he had, but
17 rushing.
okay, yeah. It's to me it seems like it's going to be hard for him to return on. I guess there's no investment anymore, but to return what he did last year, definite, way too early bubble playoff team. This middle tier.
Yeah, I agree on James Cook. As a James Cook truther last year who took him in the original startup draft and traded him, I think that his stock is really weird because you went into last year saying, well, if only he could score touchdowns, and
Yeah,
now he scores touchdowns, but the receiving value fell off. The Bills used three running backs after they drafted Ray Davis, had kept Ty Johnson in the loop, and then suddenly he became touchdown dependent for me last year.
yeah,
It was really frustrating because he's very clearly the best running back on their team, but he just didn't get all the workhorse role that he probably deserved. And now he only has 1 year left before his rookie contract is up. I've seen rumors he could be a NFL draft day trade if something works out because the Bills don't want to pay him 15 million. So we'll see. I still like the player. I think he's very good at football, but we'll see what he looks like this upcoming year.
I
My
agree.
number 8, I have Rob here. I think his foundation is about as good as anybody in the league with Herbert, Brees, and Bucky at running back, Justin Jefferson, JSN, and Marvin. Like that is really, really strong. But as you said, there's a major hole at QB2. He traded back in the first round in our big five-way deal, so he doesn't have a chance to take Cam Ward anymore. And a lot of the teams who have three quarterbacks are seemingly unlikely to trade one of those quarterbacks at the moment. So I think his top end of his roster is absolutely elite, like pushing the top of the league, but his depth is so weak. And you worry about what the Steelers do in the draft. Does Jalen Warren have any value? And I think with he if he has a couple of late round hits in the draft or he's able to swing a trade, I think he can be really, really dangerous, especially given the fact that he finished in 10th in the league last year.
Yeah,
But his top end is as good as anybody in the league.
yeah. He's just got to find that QB2 just to. It almost seems like just to have a chance, you got to have at least two starting level
Hmm.
quarterbacks in Superflex. At 7, this is where I had Trent. He's an early bubble playoff team. To me, he has solid starters. He just traded. He didn't really have a second quarterback. I guess he had Stafford, but he's on the end of his career. But he just traded for JJ McCarthy. And he's got the 106 and he has my 112. So everybody likes the depth in at least for the running backs in this class. So having those two first round picks, one mid, one late, can look to add at least one early impact player to his roster. He still has guys like Aaron Jones and Pacheco. Pacheco's a weird one. I feel like the Chiefs are going to address the running back even more than just bring back Kareem Hunt. Um, but he's got a solid flex guy in Devontae Smith. Um, Solid team. I think he's going to get better as in the coming month or so. He should get a lot better. I think he has 8 picks in this draft. So,
Hmm.
uh, personal advice, if I was him, I would be slinging those picks like you know, like you know how I'd sling them.
Yeah,
Eight picks in the draft is a lot.
yeah, and only 4 taxi squad spots. So
Yeah,
hopefully those first 4 picks are guys that he feels comfortable having on his active roster, or if he's able to deal and package some for either higher picks or players, puts him in an interesting spot. And like I said, I was looking at his team now. Having picks is great, but you don't know what you're getting. So him hitting on those picks is very dependent on his
yeah,
future, which is why I had him a little bit lower.
I got you.
My number 7, I had Schrader. I think he is very well rounded. I think, like you said, the star power at running back and the receiving depth is shockingly good. Not shockingly in, oh, like I didn't expect it from him, but in a
Yeah,
way that I didn't realize how good his depth was until I looked at his team this offseason. And I think when you have the really the rocks at running back and then add in Najee signing with the Chargers, you had the depth and top end potential that he. I mean, Jerry Judy was a top 12 wide receiver this last year
yeah,
somehow. Like no one really cares, but there's a lot of potential there. And like you said, he has Derek Carr. I don't think anybody really wants to start Derek Carr if they don't have to right now.
yeah,
Uh, he has 108, so potential to take a quarterback there or potentially make a trade. But I think he's very well rounded and his star power is good. Um, I just don't think he stands out in any specific area. But I think his team overall is very well built and probably a comfortable playoff team for me getting to
yeah.
this point at number 7.
All right, getting into my top half, coming in at number 6, I have Tyler, aka Green Guy, aka Nate Peterman supports. Um, to me, he's got a solid short term outlook. He's got depth at quarterback. This is not sounding right. What did I write? Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. He has Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and Kyler Murray. Yeah. So Russell looks to be the starter for the Giants, and then obviously Justin Fields just went to the Jets. If we would have done this 3 weeks ago, Tyler honestly probably would have been in the bottom 3 or 4. But getting lucky in free agency and getting those 2 quarterbacks, where Justin Fields we know is an elite fantasy quarterback, that can't be disputed. And then just having a competent person you can put in with Russell Wilson, that really helps him out. And then he just traded for DJ Moore. I like DJ Moore's outlook this year. He's obviously got he doesn't have Kenneth Walker. That's who he traded for. Forget who his running backs are, honestly. Honestly, don't know why I put him at 6 either. So you can take over.
Okay, I have Tyler at 6 as well. I Justin Fields signing is huge. Like that, yeah, Kyler was going to be a starter. Like his upside anymore is questionable, but he's a very solid fantasy starter. The Field signing is huge, so now he doesn't have to start Russell Wilson because that's not fun behind their O line. Like it's just not going to be good. He's a perfectly fine third quarterback, but Fields being a bona fide starter now is very good for him. When you look at his starting lineup, I think it's very, very solid. Mixon, and James Conner at running back, Terry McLaurin, Devontae Adams, Zay Flowers, and DJ Moore at receiver, and then probably the number 2 dynasty tight end and Trey McBride. I think he has a very, very good starting lineup. I think his depth is just thin. That being
Yeah.
said, he has the 7th pick. He has the first pick of the second round. Whether he packages those to get players or what, I'm not sure. But I think overall his team is very good. Devontae in the new offense should be really fun, and I think that the his fascination with acquiring Cardinals players should probably end soon because he can't acquire that many more Cardinals players before he starts to have a bigger issue. So we'll see
Yeah.
if he changes that. Starting a quarterback, a tight end, and a running back all from the same offense. Hasn't been a particularly good offense over the last year or two. We'll see what he does there, but I have him at 6, and I think that's really a really good spot for him, given he has 2 top 13 picks this draft.
Yep. Coming in at number 5 for me, I have Deshaun. Um, he really does have a solid starting team. To me, it's his lack of depth. I know I work with Deshaun, so he swears to me by Tajay and Jalen Polk and Jalen Coker. That's what he calls his depth, along with Romeo Dobbs. And we argue about it all the time. But as far as the starting team, he's got 2 top 10 bona fide running backs in Achane and Barkley. He's got the 101. We all know who that's going to be. His name's Genti Connoisseurs. And then you got two former rookies going to be sophomores and quarterbacks that their teams, the Bears with Caleb Williams, they got better just by adding a coach. And then Bo Nix, he's going to get better in year two with Sean Payton. He's got Lamb and Olave could come back. No, only real hole on the team I would say is tight end. Kyle Pitts. It's like I don't even know what year it is, but every year it feels like it's his year. It's never going to be his year. He definitely should be a playoff team to me this coming season.
I also had Deshaun at 5. I think the rest of our top six are all going to be the same. Just we'll see about the order. I had Deshaun at 5. His running back trio, his duo is special. His trio will be special. Fun quarterback duo that's young players. Honestly, I'm leaning more towards his side on your depth argument. I think he actually has solid depth. Like if you look at who's just sitting in the sleeper starting lineup right now, like those are four good players right now. And then
Cortland, are you counting Cortland as depth?
I'm counting him as a starter right now, but then you throw
Okay.
in Jalen McMillan and Christian Kirk and Dobbs on occasion, I guess, on the bench, and then Coker still like, and then he also has two second round picks this year as well. So I think he has more depth than you're giving him credit for, and I think he has if the Bears do fun things this year, he has a chance to be really really good.
Yeah, I just don't see. I don't view Christian Kirk as, to me, depth is someone you can put in the lineup and be happy with. And I can't find myself being happy starting Dobbs or Kirk
I
week
think
one.
Kirk's going to be borderline flex startable just about every week this year. I tried to trade for him before he got cut, and of course he didn't want to trade him because we were thinking the exact same thing. He's going to get cut and then go to a team where he's going to catch passes. So um, I like Christian Kirk more than you, and I know Deshaun and I were on the same page when we tried to get a trade done, but I wasn't
That's
willing to
fair.
meet that.
All right, coming in at number 4, I have the newbie Camden K. He lucked out in that draft with other Camden not taking, I believe he didn't take Stroud, yeah. So he got Jaden Daniels, who's the QB1 in Dynasty, or arguably the QB1, one or two. Okay, top three quarterback, regardless. And Stroud should have a bounce back. Uh, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, elite running backs. And then he's got Jameson Williams. I fucking hate Jameson Williams, but I guess he had a good year. Who else? He's got another receiver, but to me, he's got the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks will carry, as we saw last year, with Ian getting carried to the conference finals. What do you call that?
Semifinals.
Semifinals. Yeah, getting carried to the semifinals and getting belt to ass by me. Um, sorry, Ian, but it's just the truth.
I also had KMK in this spot. Great depth. Jaden as his number one quarterback with CJ Stroud is really fun. Good running backs. Receivers are a little lack the star power, but I think those are all flex worthy or better players. And then you add in that he still has Kittle and Hawkinson in a tight end premium league. So one of those I think could be very well be fantasy viable as a flex player. I just think overall his team is really good. And then you add in the fact that he still has the fourth pick as well. In addition to 3 second rounders next year, which I know we're not talking about next year, but he took a lot of picks next year in the startup, or I guess the restartup draft. I think his team is really good. We'll see what he can get out of if Jalen Waddle can bounce back this year. So, yeah, really good. Overall, solid. Hopefully, Jaden Daniels isn't a fluke like CJ Stroud was.
Number 3, I have you, my friend, Mr. Reed.
I figured so.
Super high floor, high ceiling starters, firepower everywhere. Uh, Best receiver core in the league. I'm a Chris Godwin guy, so him being your fourth, if you want to call him your fourth receiver, just to add with the other three you have. Um, I'm a stat guy, so having Joe and Jamar is huge. They can win you a week on any given week, and they're gonna have to win their own games. Running backs, I'm a Chuba guy. I like Chuba. Uh, you don't have You have Chase Brown, yeah?
No,
That's
I
Ian.
yeah,
Chuba
Ian has
and
Chase Brown. I have Chuba and Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker. Oh yeah, you just traded for Kenneth Walker. Okay, yeah. Um, yeah, I like Kenneth Walker as well. Uh, only hole to me, well, I guess you're in agreement, is you probably want to figure out your tight end spot sooner rather than later. I still like Ferguson. It's just he hasn't produced for an unknown reason. And then fucking hate Anthony Richardson. He's so shit. On You can openly admit that it was the worst pick in the first round in the startup last year. Traded up for him, um, and he's shit. He's never going to amount to anything. He's not good. He's not going to be good. I don't care how young or inexperienced he is. Um, so I guess not having a QB3.
Dak Prescott's on my bench.
Yeah, no, I'm counting AR as your QB3.
Hmm.
So not having a QB3 is probably your biggest hole because I'm a Ferguson guy. So yeah.
I'm
Now
just
you
glad you addressed my team captain because if you just didn't say anything about Anthony Richardson, we're gonna have to call off the pod forever.
that's fair. Now you can talk about me.
Yeah, and now I have you, and I wrote kind of similar things to what you wrote about me. That the top end talent is obviously elite. Like Neighbors is approaching. We'll see what they do, how we can gel with the new quarterbacks. But like obviously elite there. I'm not a huge Lad McConkey guy, but obviously there's credit there. He's catching passes from a great quarterback. I think that the depth you have is great, but you obviously don't have those guys in your starting lineup right now because you're not super confident in them. And I still think that assuming that Rome is going to make a huge jump this year is still less certain than a lot of people are making it out to be. An unknown role who, obviously Caleb, you can blame the system as much as you want, but uncatchable balls are uncatchable balls. So we'll see what kind of jump there is there. But your top end talent is elite, and we'll see how much that can carry you. And as a self-proclaimed ball knower, hopefully you can hit on some of your later picks. But
Mhm.
overall, the foundation is really solid. I think I might be lower on Drake May than some people because I think a lot of the stuff that people are saying about Drake May is like when you think about what he did last year, like he was solid, but assuming he's just going to get magnificently a lot better when you add better players around him, like it's the same type of projection you do with a prospect. And if you change his environment, he's going to get a lot better. And I think he's still a viable fantasy starter, but I don't think that on a week to week basis he's a top 12 quarterback right now. So we'll see what that looks like. We'll see if they can add in the draft because like as of now, they haven't really changed other than Diggs. Like it's pretty much the same thing. So overall, very good. I think the top three here is a tier break with the last three teams. But yeah,
Yeah. Just to touch on Drake May. Um, that's my guy. Uh, it's a lot of factors to me on why he's going to break out. If I don't think he's fully going to be unlocked until year three, so 2026, but should be significant this year. You upgrade at head coach, you upgrade at offensive coordinator, and you upgrade the offensive line, and then like you said, they got Diggs, and I expect them to get another receiver probably on day two. He's just it's going eerily similar to what happened with Josh Allen and with Drake May. Drake May showed his rushing floor from last year, having multiple 40 plus yard runs. Um, I think he had 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns as well. So I would probably agree he's not a top 12 quarterback yet, but with his rushing upside plus his ability to, or not his ability, but the upgraded just everything around him, I think there will be signs of him being a superstar shortly.
so do
So
you have yourself at number two?
no, I have Ian at number two. We'll get there.
Not
Ian, I have at
surprised.
number two. He has no holes. He made a brilliant trade last year, getting the 101 along with his 104. So he has Josh Allen, Lamar, uh, and then somehow managed. He had to trade some assets to get it, but he somehow acquired the 103 and the 105 to add to his team. He's not somebody we need to sit here and talk about. You look at his team, he's likely the favorite on paper, but just prop to him. Great manager, great guy to talk to, elite ball knower, and yeah,
Unlike you, I have myself at number two. I
okay,
think I think you pretty much hit on a lot of the points that I was going to say. Like I believe a lot more investing in the wide receivers and the running backs. I think the shelf life is longer there. So I'm proudly rocking the best receiver core in the league, and I think that's pretty safe to say. And I'm obviously higher on Anthony Richardson than you are. Even if he is a quarterback three, he's still a quarterback that has rushing upside that doesn't need to start weekly if he's bad, despite the fact that he might not be bad. I think that there's a lot to like there as far as my depth as well. Like I think Juwan Jennings is very possibly going to be a quality like wide receiver two this year. Like I if he's mid-season and then still getting on track the rest of the season, who knows what you're going to get with Ricky Pearsall. Um, they're going to sounds like they might extend Brock Purdy this offseason. We'll see. I think that Juwan Jennings is probably a startable player for most of the season this year. So I really like my depth at receiver behind the star power. My running back depth is very bad. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that, but there's a lot of room left. I still have 4 picks this year, including the 15th and 16th picks. So I still have time and room to address the backup running backs to get some depth there. But overall, I think I have a really solid base to move forward with.
okay. Coming in at number one, I have myself.
A little bit of self glaze here, I'm sure.
For the simple fact, inaugural champion, current champion, only champion until proven otherwise. Uh, I got told by many people that I was going to get Josh Allen in the semis last year. What happened? My team, my white boys specifically, Mr. Drake and Mr. Ladd stepped up, balled out. Shout out Gibbs. The boys, they just came ready to play. But as far as my team, um, I don't want to glaze myself, but uh, I don't think there's a spot in my starting. I guess tight end. Tight end's really my only hole, but I feel like I have a plan. Um, I got one elite guy at every position. You got Mahomes, who's still there with Drake. You got Jameer, traded for Rome, have Lad, Neighbors. I don't have much depth, but to me, I feel like I have a few running backs on my bench, like Jalen Wright, that could step in and take the Raheem Mostert role from 2 years ago. Um, we'll just keep it at that. We'll just keep it at that.
Calling your depth bad and then putting yourself at number one is a bold choice.
Champion, only
Yeah,
champion.
that's what I figured. I have Ian at number one. I think obviously the top end talent is elite. Alan Lamar, it's hard to beat. Has the 103 and the 105. We'll see what he does with that. Obviously, at least one running back I would guess is coming there. But I think something that kind of goes overlooked with his team because it's so flashy at the top is that he really does kind of have some holes. Like you don't really know what you're going to get from Cooper Cup this year. Could be anything. Who's going to be throwing the ball to David Njoku? Does he hit on his rookie picks? Like there's still a lot of question marks, but the top end talent with the two quarterbacks and then Brian Thomas and Nico Collins is too good. I don't want to see him. And when he puts up 190 in back to back weeks and then drops 120 against you, it kind of fits your whole fantasy mantra. So
Yeah, you
just
call it
right
what you
now,
want. You call it what you want.
right now, that's my power rankings. I think we were pretty similar in the top six in the
Yeah,
people, and then the order was a little different, but overall, yeah, I think it's going to wrap up here. We're running out of time. Just wanted to put something out there, kind of get the league's interest in what people are interested in hearing about. I don't think we argued as much here as we plan to in the future. So
correct.
um, hopefully more to look forward to there. And I think we that's all for us.
Yep.
Okay, sounds
We'll see
good.
you in the
We
next one.
will see you at the next one.